So that it has everyone joined. Is this everyone we're expecting?
No, but just go ahead. The rest will listen to the recording.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, let me introduce myself. Good evening, everyone. I am David Timothy, and I'm going to be your mentor or instructor for this class. So let me just turn on my video camera so you can see me well. Hello, everyone. So it's nice to be here with you guys tonight. Okay, let me just go through to the points. So I was asked to like show more light on Flutter for you guys. Can you guys can anyone hear me? Like, I want to know if I'm audible.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
All right, all right. Okay, so what I would like to like show more light on for this lesson is going to be state management in Flutter. So I'm going to teach you guys or tell you guys why you need state management, when to use it, and the beauty of it. So I like I like realistic coding. I don't like too much talk. So let me share my screen. Then let's start. And I can take any questions on why I set up my screen. Okay. Can you guys see my screen, please?
Yes, sir. We can.
So I'll just click to create. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes,
sir.
I can see your screen.
We can.
Okay. Just quickly create a Flutter project right now. So okay, then I can write my examples. Like, hope you guys know this step already. This is just creating like a new Flutter project from the command line. So the terminal code to create a Flutter project, Flutter creates, then the name of the folder or the name of the project. So I'm just going to call it state lesson or Flutter state lesson. Okay. Okay, yes, it's created. So let's go to let's go here. Go to sorry, that's the wrong thing. Let me open it from here and I'll share my screen. Can you guys see my hello? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes,
We
I
can hear you.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
I can see
So
virtual.
so this is the new Flutter project that was created, and the name is just Flutter state lesson. And you guys know how the Flutter, like I'm talking like you guys have like experience doing this before. So pardon me if I seem fast. Okay. And so as usual, this is our main.dat file. So I won't go too much here. So let me try and quickly spin up a emulator so we can get started. I guess it's coming up. And, I guess it's taking time. So my screen is being shared. This is taking. Okay, let me quickly install this application. So, my units. So while we wait for it to run, like if you guys have any question on your previous lesson or any question Flutter in general, I'm open to take it now. Or any questions about the topic already. I told you we are going to just talk about state management in Flutter, like why we need state management and the beauty of it. Anyone? Hello? Are you guys saying?
Yes, about couldn't get your question.
Yeah. I said I'm trying to run the application because we just built it. So I'm trying to know if you guys while we wait, if you guys have any like questions, like let's just take some questions while we wait this build time.
Okay, I don't have. Maybe another person have.
All right. I always build it always takes time, but this one is done. Let me see if I can make it side by side. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Oh, it's inside. Okay. All right. So the application is built from start our lesson. So this is just a normal Flutter demo screen for every new application. So the normal, you click on this, it updates the states. And I guess you guys know the meaning of stateful widgets and stateless widgets. If you don't can ask, let me remove this. Oh, this cool. Okay. Okay. Now, let me go start from the beginning. So, state management is more or less events that take place in the application. Like, for example, I'm making use of this integer here. So, user is trying to modify the state of this integer, and it's actually updating on screen. So, let's say we have two different screens. Like, let's create two different screens right now. Okay. So this is the first screen on my home page, right? So I'll create second one, also click copy and paste. Like, am I too fast? Like, I'm just, if I'm too fast, you can call me back. So we call this one second my home page, then don't know the title, and just this. We are going to change this. Also this. Yeah, fixed this. I'll just call this second screen. Okay. Then let's create another button. Let's just put this steps here. Button. Wait, like, you guys know these elements I'm using, these widgets. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, let me call it navigate to screen 2. Okay, let's element it right. Just put a size box height. 10 inches. Yeah, I guess this is fine. For let's start change this to let's change this to screen 1. Also, got this. Okay, so we have created the second screen, right? The second screen is here. And now let's navigate to it. So yeah, navigate to like you guys know how to navigate to, like, you guys have been taught pushing pages, popping pages and all that, right? Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Sorry, sir. Is it the onboarding screen assignment that we were given that day?
No, I want to know if you guys like, okay, fine. Let me move this. If you guys will answer me. I've created a second screen here, right? So
Okay.
the second screen here, it has a scaffold, like it does the same thing as this one. So now I want to navigate it, and I created a button here. So what I want to do is I
Okay.
want to click on the button and come to this screen, right? So what should I
Okay.
write here now? What's the next information?
Oh, can't really remember for now.
But have you guys been taught like navigating, pushing pages, popping pages, and all that?
No, that we only created one screen.
Oh, yes. All this while I was talking. Okay, navigating to a page is just you're pushing a page, right? So navigated of context of push. Push means that you are adding a page on top of the stack. There's also pop, right? There's also push and remove. So there's a lot actually. What we are going to be using right now is push. So push is going to push a new page onto the stack, onto the navigator stack, right? So and then we are going to write serial page routes, then like user is then that's this context, and then this. Oh, it's error. Oh, let's see that. Okay. So now this is our navigator function to push in this page here, this second home page. And this second home page is also a stateful. So when we do that, now look, this on this screen, we have pushed this 15 times, right? So now what I want to navigate to the second page, right? So we have pushed this button 0 times, right? Still the same thing. And you can see this back button on the add bar, right? Just normal push. Okay. Now, if you observe, these screens have different states, or they are manipulating different local states, right? So this local state of this integer is 15, and when you go to screen 2, right, it's now like it's now imagine you are managing carts. Like imagine you're building an e-commerce application, right? And you're trying to manage carts, whereby whenever the user clicks on a button, an item is added to the cart. So let's say, for instance, you have a cart icon, and the cart icon has, let's say, 0 item to the cart. Whenever you click on it, you want to add an item to the cart, right? Let's give an example of that. So yeah. So the reason why I'm teaching this managing states is that I'm trying to explain local states and then external states. Now, you have put this button 15 times for this first screen, but this next screen does not know this information, right? So let's say, for instance, you have in an e-commerce app, right? The first screen shows you products, shows you a list of products, right? And products come with product title, the image, and all that. And when you navigate to it, you want to also bring back, you want to also display the product's image, title, and everything still on this screen. So let's do that now. So what I want to do is that this state here, right? I also want it here. So I want to have the same states for all screens. So whereby if the user clicks on this, it's showing 17, right? And go to this screen. I still want to have 17 here and still want to be able to see updates the states. I don't know if I'm making sense. And you guys can also ask questions. Hello? Yes. Okay, let's just do that. Let's do that. So now passing data between screens. So let's say this is second page, and so this is first page, this is second page. I want to pass this data here, this counter data. I want to pass it here, right? And I want it to be the one to be sticks here. So let's do that. This one's supposed to be a form class, but so far hasn't been formed enough. Okay, so first of all, we have to first receive this the data, right? So we come here. Call it counter. And this one's state counter. Okay. Let's call it now. Those for this and then we make it required. Right. So now we have like created a variable in this class that actually receives this data from here. So if you observe now, it's showing red because now this class needs a data, it needs an integer here. So we can then call state counter. And state counter is what is this variable here, right? So let's send it in. Copy this. Now, what we have done now is that we have sent this data, this 17, we have sent it here. But if you observe, we have sent it right, then why is it not showing? Why am I still clicking this button and to see it? I'm not still seeing this state from here. So what we can do is that we have actually sent it, we have put the variable in here, but we are not actually using it. Right? So to do that, I don't know if you guys have used, I was thinking you guys are more experienced in this or have more in-depth knowledge how the framework works. But can anyone tell me like about init states or the chain dependencies or about the updates widgets? Like these are functions in a stateful widget. And do you guys also know the differences between a stateful widget and a stateless widget? Because that will also come in hand about what I'm going to do. Hello?
So yeah, I good evening. I did good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Evening.
Please kindly confirm if you can anyone.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So I'm going to start with the chain dependency, right? So that function is being used when you want to go to a new screen. Like want to like let's say for instance, how would I put it? But something like switching to a new screen, right? Then you also say something about stateful and stateless, right? So stateless is actually used when there's not going to be like an interaction or yes, let me just put it that way. Like okay, let's say for instance, like onboarding screen, no, not onboarding screen, like let's say splash screen, right? So then also stateful widgets, it's used when maybe yeah, there's going to be interactions and all of that. Yeah, then for the init states, honestly, I know it, but I don't just know how to put it in words right now.
Okay, don't worry. Let,
Thank
let, me,
you.
let me help out. So in Flutter, right, everything is a widget. And widgets can be classified into stateful or stateless widgets. Right. So Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Because I was saying, in Flutter, everything is a widget, and widgets can be classified into stateful and also stateless widgets based on whether they maintain states. So stateless, when you have to use a stateless widget, is if you don't want to maintain any state in that widget, and you're using a stateful widget, or you want to maintain a state in that widget. So if you observe in these two screens we have created, right, we are using a stateful widget. And we are using that because why? We are managing a state inside the screens, right? And this, what we are pushing here, this state we are updating is the state we are managing. That's why we are using a stateful widget. Okay. So now when you are using a stateful widget, right? You know, I told you stateful widget is used to manage states. So there's a way the Flutter framework actually manages that state. So when this like class is being called, right? This is our build function, and this build function shows like our scaffold, the app bar, and all that. Now, before this build function is called, there's what we call init states. So before this, when this class, when you call this function, this you push to this. Hello?
Okay, I was not seeing your screen before. Sorry.
All right. Can you see it now, please? Hello, can you see it now? Hello, can you guys confirm if you can see my screen, please?
I can see it from my end here.
Okay, let me proceed then. So once this function is called, this function pushes this screen to the stack, right? Now, once this comes into play, the first thing that gets run here is this init state function. So after this init state function, the second function that gets called is this the change dependencies function, right? Then I guess there's also the update widgets, and I can't remember the last one. But it's just like this from init states, J dependencies, the update widgets. Then also, whenever this state is being disposed of, I'm going like outside the scope of this lesson right now. But I guess you guys just something you have to just make research on because of time. So that's not to make like too much knowledge. Let me just give you a simple one. So what we are going to make use of is the first one. Is we're going to make use of init states. Any questions like before I go forward?
Yes.
Oh, hello? I can't hear you, sorry. Hello? Okay, let me just proceed. So let's not forget what we're trying to achieve, right? This is screen one, and we have pushed this button 21 times. What we want to do is that now I'm going to this screen. I want to see what I've pushed from the previous screen here. So what we have done so far is that we have created a variable here that receives the data, like receives this data here, this integer, right? And now I want to now use the data. So what do we do? What do we do? I created an init state, right? What's next? This is the variable here, state.counter is the variable. So, and this variable here is the counter of this screen. So this counter right here is the counter of this screen. So it's just to assign it because we have already have a variable now. And I told you that whenever this class is called, the first thing that gets run is this init state before this build function gets called. So all we have to do now is just counter that's this counter here. It's equal to, now who knows what I'm going to write? So whenever you are using a stateful widget and you have variables in the class parameters, right? We are going to use widgets. So ideally, I'm supposed to just write counter is equal to state counter, and this should work. But it's not going to work until you put this. Right? So that's the way you can access your variable from a stateful widget class. I guess it's something that I can do research and just play around with. So now we have also assigned it. So let's see what happens. Let's run the app again. Right. So yeah. So let's say I put this button 10 times. And what I'm going to go to screen. So if you observe, we have put this button 10 times. Post screen. So go back 10 times and 15 times. Like, are you guys getting this? All we just did is just that fine. We want to have the same states, and we send it to the previous screen or to the next screen. Okay, now here's a bug. Here's a bug. Now we are in the first screen. We have navigated this. We can update the state of this integer. It's 18, and it's 18 here. And let's update it here. 25 and 4. And when we go back, it's still 18. Like, if I can come here and once again, it's still. So all we have just done right now is that we are just sending this data here. But whatever now happens here is not happening here. So we are going to fix that. And you guys have any idea, we are going to do that. Okay. Now, first thing first, we want to know, since we are sending this data in here, and so if we're sending data in here, there has to be a way to send this data back to the sender or back to wherever it's coming from. So we are going to do that now. So remember I said we have a navigator that pushes a page to the stack, and we also have navigator.pop that copies. Say copies. Navigator.pop that pops a page. So whenever this button is called here, right, this back button is called, it pops, like it calls the pops function internally. Right. So let's just do it fast. I'm not wasting guys' time. So what I want to do right now is like, okay, first of all, we are going to modify this back arrow. Right. So in your app bar class, like app bar has like actions padding. What we need is this leading. This leading is what it has for this back out. So let's say leading. Yeah, cool. Let's just put a container. Let's put a container there, and our back arrow is gone. Right. So let's put a container with height 100 with this is going to be put in height 10 with 15. Let's give it a color. We also have yeah, you can see it here, right? But this is not what we are doing right now. So let's just change this. So we need an icon. Then call this icon is to pack. Okay. And voila, we have our icon back. But see, clicking it does not really do anything. So that's because now we are the ones actually controlling this widget now, not Flutter itself. So we can come here and just here. We can put a, let me just use a gesture detector. So gesture detector is a widget that when it wraps around any widget, you can actually create a function to actually like tap it. Let's do that way. So gesture widget has on tap down, on tap up, like different case scenarios. What I want to use is the on tap. So I've introduced you guys to navigator dots push. I'm going to now do navigator dot org. So what happens when we do this and it goes back to what we had before? Like this is what you had before, right? Any questions so far? Okay, no question. All right. So navigator dot org. What we want to do, we want to send back this data back to the sender. All we have to do right now is just pass in the data. And the data is what? Data is this same counter here. Okay. So passing the counter variable back. And let's see what happens. So this is 18. Navigate here, 22, 25. When we come back, still 22. We did not see, even if we are sending back the data, this screen is still not receiving it. Like, does anyone know why? Okay. So despite the fact that we are sending back the data, we are not actually using it. Look at our navigation function here. All we do is just send our counter variable to this second screen, and that's it. We don't use, we're not listening or using anything get person back, right? So to do that, we're going to do is save it in a variable, right? So we can call the variable final new counter. New counter state. Then we have to change this to it. Wait, you guys know async functions, right? Because this is going to look very weird to you guys if I'm mentioning this stuff. Okay, I'll just go on. So whenever you are using an async function, it's more or less in JavaScript, it's called a promise. So some program runs synchronously. So after this first function runs, second one runs, and all that. But now what we want to do is that in an asynchronous function, there's this parameter we can called await, right? So now let's just read it. We created a variable, right? And it's an await callback here. So now we are pushing this function pushes this screen into view. Now, when this navigator is being popped back, when we are here, when it's being popped back, we are popping it back with an integer. And now here, this await callback is actually waiting for any information. So you guys just do research on this. But do you have any question? Let me answer. I'm just like, I want to know if you can understand what I'm trying to do. Hello? Okay. So right now we are actually, if you look at the name of this variable, we are defining a variable, we are not actually using it. Now, so what to do? So you're going to say, because this popping this thing, it's not every time you're going to pop back the results, right? So sometimes you can call it without popping. So let's handle that. Let's just handle that quickly. Just say if, because this can be null, and say if this is not equal to null, if it's not empty, then we are going to call our set state function. Okay. This is here, and then same thing that we did the previous time, just the counter is equal to this new counter state. Yeah. So let's run our app again and let's see if it works. I'm still open to questions. So let's see. So this is 10, right? And then we navigate to screen 2 and we see 10. Then let's put 15 and let's go back and 15. So let's do it to 20, 25, 24. And so what we have done so far is that now we have been able to have just one state for these two screens, right? So it's just simple thing. Data is here, local state being updated, local state being passed to the next screen, local state is being updated, local state is also being passed back to the previous screen. So any questions so far? Like, do you guys are you enjoying this class? Hello?
Yes, we are, sir.
Yeah, like any questions so far? I'm open to any questions so far.
For me, not really. But after the class, we'll go through the video so that we'll not slow down the
Okay.
class.
All right, no problem then. So now this is what we have just done right now is we have actually managed states, right? We have created two different screens and then we are actually managing the states of a variable locally. And yeah, now if you observe, this process is actually really tedious because now imagine if you have like 10 different screens or 10 different pages, and now let's say you have a cart data on the dashboard, right? And the person has added 3 items on the cart, and now you want to now go to maybe the product details screen. You want to show the same cart that the cart has 3. Like if you for example, like Jumia now, when you go to the product details screen, you see your cards. You can go to your about. You can go to your order history screen and all that. You see your card data. For example, let's say we have 3 items in a cart. Now, how would you now be passing that same state of 3 items in a cart? If you observe this method, that we use, like 3 items in a cart, like it will be really tedious when you have to do this for about 6, 9 different pages. And what if you have different elements in the states? Because it can't only be card data you want to save. It can be the product's name and all that. So this method is actually really tedious of managing states. That's why we have state management solutions in Flutter. So we have Liverpod, we have block, we have getx, we have rxstats. We have a lot that like there are a whole lot of state management solutions. So what this does is that it helps make development faster, as it helps it brings like an external let me just say an external box. So instead of you saving your state locally here, like this counter variable here, and now save this counter variable in a different external class somewhere, that's where both screens can now access it. So instead of saving it here, passing passing data to this screen, passing it back. So you cannot create a separate class where you can now update that data. I don't know if I'm making sense, but so what I'll just do right now, let me just fast. Since we have done local states and you guys don't have any question, you guys are really geniuses here. So let's just use a state management package. Let's use Riverpod. So you guys know how to install packages, right? Hello? So someone should walk me on how to install a package called Riverpod. Like, tell me, what am I supposed to do? What will I do next? Now, let's say you are the one here and you want to install a package Riverpod. Like, what do you do? Anyone at all? Okay, you guys are no fun. So can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So the first thing to do at the package is first we find that package. Like you want to add Riverpod for you want to use Riverpod. You can also use Riverpod and block and all that, but for now, for this lesson, I'm using Riverpod. So Riverpod writes, I'll just say Riverpod flutter, and then this is the Riverpod package. And then what do you do next? Look at installing. This is how you install it. Right. So the second thing to do, like if you are working in an older because most times you won't build an app from the beginning to the end. You might be joining a team that already had an existing application, and they might be using an older sort of version and an older DATS version also. So you can also check out this. So this will tell you the minimum DATS SDK that a package supports, right? So you will know the one that you can install on your projects. So this is version 2.17. I'm using Flutter 3.29, which is the latest version. So anyone should work. So we'll just copy this code, and then we'll come here. Dependencies are packages that like the project needs, right there. Dependencies are packages that you need. So let me just put it that way. This one are the ones that your project needs, so not the ones that you need. That's why it's called dev dependencies. So I think that's the easiest way I can explain it. Put it here and then we install. So let me put our project. Let me see if it's actually installed. I think it should have installed. Okay. So let's create a state class. I'm gonna call it integer, or let's call it integer or counter, or is it counter? Counter states provider. Right? Okay. So the next thing to do now. So in Riverpod currently right now, if you want to use Riverpod as or if you are running a team that uses Riverpod as a management solution, so there are two things syntax, right? There is the code generation Riverpod, which is a newer way of running Riverpod, and we have the manual one. So the developer, because of time and all that, made the package like code generation. So you don't have to do much. It just generates the provider for you. But we are going to be doing the manual one for now. Probably in later lessons, or you guys can even learn the code generation one yourself. Yeah. So so we want to create a counter provider. So I think I have a report snippet of this provider. Yeah. So this is the snippet. Let me just write it. Counter. I like working smart as that. So and then we just put here. I'm going to call it. We are managing that. I'll explain this shortly. And then let's port report. So said return. I'll explain this shortly. So we just created a counter provider, right? And this is provider integer. Integer means that the state that is managing is an integer, which is here. So this like this thing here is the same thing as doing this, right? It's the same thing as doing this. So now in Liverpool, this provider, then this what we need is a state provider because we want to manage states, which is this counter variable states. And that's it. We have created our provider, right? So let me create a separate folder here. Let me call this one. What should I call it? Wait. Let me say with navigation. So you guys can see the difference. What I'll do is I'm going to copy all this. Right. I'm going to paste it here. Right. Yeah. So this is just the old code. So I want to modify this one. So I don't want us to lose it from now on. So I'm going to modify this code now. Now I want to now manage this how is this? I want to now manage these states with this counter provider that we just created. Now what do we do? These are screen stateful widgets. Now, because we are now going to use Liverpool to manage our states, we don't really need a stateful widget because a stateful widget does what? Like we build the stateful widget manages a state, right? And managing this state. But since we now want to outsource it to a provider, we don't really need a stateful widget anymore. So what we are going to do is we're going to change this stateful widget to a stateless widget, right? So just move all this, taking it out, and change it to stateless, right? So if you observe, I told you if when you're using stateful widgets, you access variables that are using widgets plus whatever the variable name is. But now we can just move this. Now we don't have counter anymore. We'll modify this later. And now our navigation to screen 2. We can also take it out for now. Let's comment out this function. And then our increment function. Let's also comment this and just put null for now. Let's restart this app. Let's see what happens. Okay. Yes. Because I added Liverpool. Yeah, that's why it showed that error. I'm supposed to like review the app. Like, I think I'm supposed to even stop the account. But let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. So yeah. Now we have actually using we want to now have the same function, right? Tap on this button and we have a state line create using this our new provider. So what do we do? What do we do? First of all, we have to first display it, right? So now in provider, while using provider, they have different package statement packages, block and the rest. So this won't run, like all these won't run if we don't add this quality provider scope. Like this syntax is just for Riverpod, not for block and the rest. So we have the provider scope and then we import Riverpod. I just copy it from here. Okay. Oh. Why is this not working? I'm importing Riverpod. Wasn't this doesn't store it now? So what's this happening? Let's see here. That's good. Yeah, that's the right here. Yeah, that's good. Why is this not working? Oh, yes, I installed the wrong Riverpod. I installed the wrong Riverpod. Silly. So to install Flutter Riverpod. So you guys saw the mistake, right? Can happen to anybody. So there are two versions of Riverpod. This Riverpod is like works with Dart, while this Riverpod works with Flutter. Just do your research on it. So we are going to change this for this. Now everything should work well, inshallah. And you have to change this to how to remove this imports, this code imports. And then we have to also change this also. That's the beauty of the programmer. Fixing bugs that you created. But anyway, using Flutter Riverpod, like most of the time, people don't really use this package. Or this one actually. What we actually use is this. So if you're taking off using Riverpod, you will use this. And I'll explain why in a second. So this is a package that most of the time developers use while using Riverpod. So this is because when you are installing this installs just Riverpod for you. This installs Riverpod for that, not Flutter. This installs Riverpod for Flutter. This installs Riverpod, but this installs Flutter Riverpod and Flutter hooks. Yeah. So this installs both this and this, and enables you to use this tool simultaneously in a project. So the reason why I like Flutter hooks and most developers use it is because of speed. Now, for example, I'm going out of scope for this software. Anyway, let's fast. So, for example, now managing this is our old code now. Managing a local state, we have to create a stateful widget, create this, use set states here, set states here. But when you are using Flutter hooks, you don't have to do that. With Flutter hooks, you can, like it's even here, it's even right here. Instead of using stateful widgets, you can just create this a hook widget, and it's very just look into it. Just look into it. Most of the time, just look into it for hooks because it will really help you at the end of the day. So let's go back to our lesson, right? And what have we done? Yes, we have added Flutter, River Pause, we have added provider scope, right? Right, let me run the project. So the next thing to do is right now we are using stateless widgets. So because we are going to use a River Pause here, we're going to use something called consumer widgets. Then there's this called ref. Now what this means is we just modified our class from a stateless widget to a consumer widget, right? This is for us to be able to access this provider. So what this ref means, this ref is an it's a parameter to access all Liverpool providers. Don't as time goes on, you understand it. So now, what do we do next? So we can do this. Fine now. What we want to do now is we want to access the same thing we did here. That this instead of counter, right? Want to and then put it here as a text. We want to also do it here also. Where is it? Right. So final we have, let's call it counter also. And it's ref. And so the ref accesses this provider. So it's going to be ref dot. So when using ref to access the provider, you can use ref dot read. You can use ref dot watch. So they are actually okay. Let me just let me just show you guys what it does. So ref dot read, and then counter provider here. Then import it. Right, it's been imported now. So now let's now use this counter variable. We use it for our who knows why this thing is not working. So our counter variable is actually a integer, and you know text requires a string. So there are two ways to use it. You can use like this counter dot string to string, or you can do it like this. Just use, since it's a, and this also works. Yeah. So now we have added it. Let's see if it works. So now we have 0 here, because 0 is what's here. Let's increase it to 5. Let's review this. And it's 5. It's just holding the variable we passed here. When you got it back to 0. Okay, now back to the, let me see it. Also review the app. Okay, now we are using it, but now on clicking this, like, doesn't update the states. Do that. Come back here. This is our old function. Now we're going to do, we have access to ref here, right? And so the ref accesses our provider. So all I do is just the same, to do the same thing here. Ref dot reads after provider dots. Now, want to modify the states in it. So just notifier and dot state, then dot. No, this is the same thing as basis. Yes, yeah, this is the same thing as doing this. Setting the state counter plus plus, same thing as doing this. And here you are doing ref dot read plus plus. So this notifier inside this syntax here helps you access the function that calls the state. And just put it let me not explain too much on that. Let's just do it. So now let's see 0, and then what happens? Nothing happens. And the reason why nothing happens is I want to explain this. Ref dot read and ref dot watch. So in Liverpool, ref dot read is nice for this. When you want to call a function relating to the provider, that's when ref dot read is superb. But whenever you want to like listen to state updates on that provider, it's best to use ref dot watch. So if you observe, we just tap on this and nothing happens, right? So let's restart the app again. Let's see what happens. So and now our state still did not update. Anyone tell me why what I'm missing? Nobody can respond as usual. So let's debug this. State is not updated. Okay. Let me state plus plus missing something here. I think I'm missing something here. Let me just put something. Let me put state assignment state 5. Let's see if this will work. So no one can tell me why this thing is not working. Anyone? Wow. Like looking at this, can anyone tell me what's wrong with this code and why it's not working?
No
Are
idea,
you guys
sir.
even here? What? Anyone?
For me, no idea, sir. We'll have to go through the video again after the class to understand better.
What's
Like
the,
it's quite easy, right? Now, if
what's
you
the
look at
price?
this is elevated button, and this trait is navigate to screen 2, and this is where we put our function to modify the state. And I've been tapping on this plus icon, and this plus icon on press is null. That was actually really look at. On press is null. This function should be here, not here. As if I do this, she observe, change it to 7. You guys are not paying attention at all. Wow. Wow. No one was paying attention. So now I fixed it and can do this. And it works as before, tapping on this button increases this, right? So now let's put back our function that takes you to the second screen. Since we are now using wrapper, we don't need to pass data, so you can remove this, right? Yeah. So go back to this screen, and since now using wrapper, we don't need this with this and just so we don't need this. Just clean out this, then change here. What widget are we changing it to? Anyone? Changing it to a consumer widget. Then ref. Then we don't need this anymore. Don't need this anymore. And then let me comment this out. So yeah, we're in screen 1 and we go to screen 2. So we just do the exact same thing we did here, right? We have got watch. And then we put our counter here. And then next thing we do, if this function is still null, let's copy this function here. So let's restart app. Yeah. So the same as before. 7, 7, 15, and 15. Now, this way, what we have just done is, the formal way is that we had to send the data. First of all, we had to update the data here to set state, and send it to the next screen through the navigator, and then the next screen gets it here, assign it here in the init state. Like just look at the process, assign it here in the init state for it's now gets here again. Also, you get to update it again through here, like very long process, and then this version just makes your life very easy and fast. Because why not? And if you look at the number of code lines of this, like it's actually very, very faster than using this. Because the data is just here. So now if you imagine if you have like 10 different pages, all you have to do is just reference this provider, right? Contact provider here. So let's say you have a cat that every time the user increases it and the number increases. So now you can just be referencing this provider in each screen that you need, and just easily reference. Fine. I need number of items in the cart and it can be here. So this is, let me just say, state management 101 that I'm giving to you guys. And which brings the end to our lesson for now. So I will take any question. So that I'm going to question, I'm listening. Hello? Any question at all concerning perhaps stateful widgets, concerning init states, gesture detector, why we had to replace it, concerning navigator? So any questions at all? Hello?
Okay, so please, can you hear me? Right.
Yeah, I can.
So, all right. So I will ask for a question before giving my observation and all of that.
All right.
So for as as a beginner, for we beginners in total development and all of that, which of the state management would you advise us to learn at this moment? Is it state, is it Liverpool, is it block? Which one would you advise? Right? Because obviously that state management is like it's actually wide, and one can keep learning just one of it for a very long time till one becomes good at it and all of that. So what would you like? What would be your like? English, abeg. Ah. So what would be your advice?
Okay. Okay.
Like yes. Then
So,
from my observation, I noticed that because at some point in the class, I was fluctuating. I was going off, coming back online, and all of that. So, but the reason why I think most of us didn't respond to some of your questions was because like we are still very new to this. To be very honest, like still very very new to this, right? And some of us are still trying to process everything that is being taught in the first class and all of that. So it might really be hard for us to kind of follow through and grasp everything that you're seeing at the moment. So like I mean that's just my observation and just to I hope you understand. So yeah, thank you.
all right. All right. That's a nice one. So, let me answer the second question first. So, I had thought you guys had like gone far and have like a little more experience in like mobile development and data development. So I guess that's my bad. Then so you can go on. Your hand is up.
Yeah. So regarding that, right, we like individually we have our own different learning paths, learning journey, right? So I someone else might have gone far, including
Yeah,
myself
because
also. But
I watched you guys
see,
last lesson and you guys did like an onboarding, full onboarding screen, right?
yeah,
Like
I mean that was taught in the class, and people learn differently, like and this is coding, right? I mean it takes series of self learning before you can actually learn know what this is used for and all of that. So I guess that's where the problem is and all of that.
okay, okay, okay. Um all right, that's fine, that's fine. But I checked you guys former class and I noticed that you guys have done like a full onboarding screen. So I was like, okay, fine, these guys have gone far because if you guys have done like a full onboarding screen, you guys must have like enough knowledge or understood the concept. But anyway, let me answer your first question concerning what state management you should choose. So just think of state management as is just a tool. Yeah, it's just a tool you can use. So if you're a farmer and you want to like work on your farm, there are so many tools that's accessible. You can choose to use a tractor, you can choose to use a cutlass, whatever, whatever. It's just a tool. So just know how to farm. Once you know how to farm, like know all the concepts of this what I should do. So picking a tool will be very easy, right? So yeah, that's just it. Like recommending you once you know like what you are doing, you would know because same management differs for projects and projects and developer scope. So what works best for me, I know what worked best for you and your team. So also, the reason why I say you should understand how to farm and not how to tool, because you can be coming to a project. Let's say you join a new team, and let's say they're using block as a state management. So we be now say, I don't know block is I know Liverpool, like let's use Liverpool's and the app has already been built in block. Or let's say they use Getex on the project, and you'll be like, I don't know Getex. And so like just know once you know the fundamentals, you can easily pick up and use any different state management. You can go on. You answer.
Yes, I was going to ask, how much do we need to learn about each state management? But you already addressed that if you can get to know the fundamentals, right? I mean, that is, I mean, so that was why I had to
Yeah,
like put my hand down since you answered
all right.
that and all
Yeah,
that.
that was exactly what the whole course or the lesson for today was about. Like managing states. I showed you guys navigation of how to send in data and all that, and why we need a safe management solution. So safe management solution does abstracts and pauses the state for us. That's literally what a safe management solution does. It just all of them, they just house the state for you. They help you keep it. So it's actually the same concept. I can, take out your Liverpool there and add in block, and we will still do exactly the same thing, just in a little different way. You get. So once you understand how to find, this is why I need state management. This is what it does. That's it. You can use anyone, both Getters, both block, both Liverpool. They are just state management solutions that have different syntax. So once you know the basics and fundamentals, you can pick up anyone. But I've used block, I've used Liverpool, I've used provider, I've also used the text for a project. Like for me, I most of the time myself like using Liverpool. Just developers, I put it, developer preference. I've done a team where we started a project with GetX and I had to go with it. So yeah, your answer again.
All right, so I want to ask, right? So because I know safe state is typically kind of beginner friendly, followed by what is the second one? I think uniform provider, but I don't have forgotten. Then Liverpool, then block. I think block is like I mean, I don't want to say the highest of them. I don't know the like, but I know Liverpool, then block. So my question is, if one should learn block, right? Can someone use block for every project? Am I asking the right question? I don't even know. But what I'm trying to say is, can someone use, you know, okay, let me say put it this way, if you use set state or you use set it for a particular project, you can't use for a big project, right? Like a project with multiple apps or something like that. Let me put it that way or something like that. But if you use block, right, like can 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 I use can I use block for a project that is being used for set like the access states, stuff and all that in it. Like I don't know if I know what I'm trying to say. Just help me out. Thank you.
Um, so I think I was what I'm trying to say. So like I explained before, there's local states and there's like external states. So of course you are going to use set states for managing local states in your app or in your screens or in your pages. So it's not like there's no knowledge wasted here. No knowledge is actually wasted. So what's safe management? But safe management should be the least of the world. Like I said before, once you know the fundamentals, right? These things will just become very easy to pick up. Once you know the fundamentals, why you need safe management solution when you have to use it, then you really want to decide, okay, fine, I can build this app. I want to use set states for this to manage this local states. I want to, for example, let's say there's a user preference screen where users can toggle if they want to see that, if they want to have notification or not. You can do that locally on the screen. You can also choose to use a provider for that also. So it just depends on you. Once you master the fundamentals, then everything becomes easy. I know it might sound like this thing is too much. Like, don't worry. Like with time, everything will become clear. I just wanted to just show the fundamentals today on what is it management, why you need it. So that was what was shown today. So with this knowledge, now you can go look out to find how do I get better at this? Can I go do your research? and then you can start to pick up from there. Okay. Any other question? Okay. All right. So I guess that will be the end of this class. And it's been a nice time with you guys. So you guys know it's not at all, but it's actually been a nice time. I had fun. Yeah. So thank you everyone. Thank you for uh, giving me your time today. Thank you for staying for the lesson. Like it's been really nice. All right. So I guess it's good night.
All right, thank you so much, Sir David. Thank you for for explaining a lot in today's class. Um, have a lovely night, everybody. Take care.
All right. Good night.
Good night.